So the research guidelines are questions I'm going to go through now and explain exactly what we are looking for. Choose one of the pollutants listed and research the following information on it. Oil spill, again, thermal pollution, salinity, and eutrophication. So first thing you need to do is define. So go to your diary, find out what the word define means. And then you need to identify. Again, go to your diary, find out what the word identify means. Biotic and abiotic factors. Again, if you don't know what these words mean, you've got to look them up. Biotic and abiotic, you can check out dictionary.com to help you with that, in the aquatic ecosystem. Again, aquatic does mean water. So basically you're looking to define biotic, define abiotic, identify some examples of biotic and identify some examples of abiotic factors in the ecosystem. Give details of the sources or causes of your pollutant on the waterways. What we need to know here is what actually causes the pollution. Say for example it was litter pollution, then this would be, tourists on the beach dropping their litter. That's a very mild case of it. Alright, so you need to give all the details that you can find about what causes either oil spills or salinity, whatever you choose. Find 2 places in Australia where this type of pollution is a problem. Now for something like litter, it would be a problem on all beaches, from Cronulla, Cornell, all the way along the coast. Wherever there's tourists, you'll have that problem of litter. So you need to find where oil spills have affected Australia, or salinity or thermal pollution, whichever you choose. Research the effects of the pollutant on the waterways. Now an example of an effect would be that litter, like plastic bags, could actually choke wildlife in the waterways. That's an effect of the pollutant. What effect does your chosen pollutant have on the waterway? Explain what food chains and food webs are and how pollutants disrupt these using examples. Again, if you don't know what a food chain is, you're going to have to research that firstly, find out what food chains are, how they're designed, and also find out what a food web is. Okay? Then you take your pollutant and see what effect they have on food chains and food webs. Okay? Now I could use the example of litter again here to explain how it affects food chains. So it would actually maybe kill an organism, and if it kills an organism, that's going to affect lots of other organisms that feed off it. What are the treatments or strategies or technologies available to reduce the effect of the pollutant on the waterway? So you're looking at how the government or different agencies actually treat like oil spills, or treat litter, treat salinity, treat eutrophication. What do they do to actually reduce that effect on the waterway? Is there something that they do? One nice example that we're using here at Aquinas is that we are doing our Enviro walk, and so we're actually picking up litter on the beach. And that's one effective way to actually reduce the effect of the pollutant on the waterway. So for you, you choose your pollutant and then describe the strategies that are there to help reduce the effect. Pollution is often the result of human activity close to or at the waterway. Like I said, tourists on the beach, litter, causing litter. So it's often a byproduct of industries. There's lots of different industries. Agriculture is an industry, desalination, oil, or tourism. And they all operate because they make money for people, either an individual, a company, or a country. What you need to do is research why your pollution exists in the first place. So like litter exists because there are tourists. What about your pollutant? Is the industry really needed? Explain why or why not. For the industry like tourism, that is really needed in an area because that keeps all the businesses alive and means that lots of different people have an income and a steady, stable life. So yes, we do need tourism, and therefore we are going to have litter. Should it continue to function if it is going to continue to pollute? Well, yes, we would say yes. Usually tourism should continue to function, and yeah, we are going to have more litter, but we've got to have some strategies that can actually manage that problem. So the next stage is to find out what strategies these industries use or could use to reduce or prevent the pollution in the waterways. Now straight away, if we go down to Cronulla Beach and we see that there's lots of litter on the beach, we can pick it up ourselves, but the council have already provided lots and lots of bins along the beachfront there, so people can actually use them. Now that's one very simple but effective way that they reduce the amount of litter going into the water. Justify whether this human activity should continue in the future. Should we continue to have tourists come to our beaches? Well, if you say yes, then you need to justify it, which means give reasons for or and if you say no, then you need to justify that, which means to give reasons against. Now, if you pick a pollutant, say for example nitrification, and you are struggling to find any information on that, then just leave it, choose a new pollutant sooner rather than later. Otherwise you will lose valuable research time. To help you get started, you can use the following research engines. Google, obviously, Ask, MSN, Lycos, Yahoo and Dogpile. Dogpile actually does a search of about 4 different search engines. This task will be used to determine your grades for your semester 2 reports. It'll combine with your exam in term 4 and you'll get an average for your ATE grades for semester 2. So the total amount of marks for this task is 30, and the marking criteria for communication is the only criteria you will be given before the task is done. And the in-class part will be marked, like I said, like a test, and so you'll get the marking criteria back with that after you do the test. So the marking criteria for the communication section, which we're mainly looking at here, is your ability to find resources, use resources, and annotate them, and write up a bibliography. How many resources? We'd expect you to use more than 5 resources to get top marks in this. The resources can all be from the internet, but you can choose things like a dictionary, an encyclopedia, articles, whatever it may be. It doesn't all have to be just straight from YouTube or what, you can choose. Accurately acknowledge all resources. So in that you would have to include an author, a date, the access, date access, the title, publisher, website, and all the other details that are needed. Again, see page 22 of your diary, and I'll give you some further instructions in a while. You also need to accurately annotate the bibliography with reference to 3 things: validity, bias, and reliability. Again, I'll show you how to do that. Now, we'll just break that down to, like, that's your top marks, and if you do very little except name a resource, then obviously you go down to the more bottom marks. So that's an outline of your task, and what I'll do now is explain to you how to write an annotated bibliography.